Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi. And today we are fortunate to have Dr. Leow. And well, he said he was going to introduce himself here, but I know him for quite some time, and he's a multi-purpose man, multi-purpose. Trained as a medical doctor and earned his PhD and DBA after that, and now he's into marketing, is it? So so with that, I think I would like to invite him to share his thoughts and experiences with us, and please welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, a very good morning. My style is a bit different than the other lecturers because I don't like to stand in front of the, here and talk referring to the, to the slide. The reason why, because I feel that we are human. I have to treat everybody as human so that it's more towards like interactive. So this session will be more towards like interactive, meaning that usually in my master or when I teach master class, right, I will need you all to give me certain feedback and also certain question I will pose to you so that at least everybody would not fall asleep. That's the main objective of it. Okay, so a very simple one. Who am I? Okay, so this is my very basic profile towards myself that you could see. I wear many hats. So over here, I'm also one of the trainer. I'm also sit in the editorial board for a few journals. Then after that, I'm also doing online lecture for University of Chester now. So I have to wake up early morning in 3 o'clock in the morning, so for me to lecture them. Then after that, I'm also the fellow consultant for a few organizations. And also in Malaysia, I'm working with MPC in different research in productivity. And recently, just this week, so I produced 2 journals. One journal talk about the productivity and also Kaizen. How do we use consumer behavior to increase productivity and also application of Kaizen? Another one, which is co-writing with my PhD researcher. I don't call them as student. I call them as researcher, okay, because we are the same level. So I'm also a researcher. They are also a researcher. So we are sharing, because I always believe that when you supervise any master or PhD students, so it's a two-way interaction. It's impossible that you just get whatever it is. But usually one of the very sad things happen in Malaysia, which is talk about supervisory, because a lot of my students tell me one question, which is, okay, so when you see your supervisor, no offensive meaning, a lot of them, they would say that what? Okay, read more, reteacher, read more, reteacher, read more, reteacher. But the reality is that the student do not know what to read, where to read, what to get, what information to get. So that is one of the dilemma of most of the PhD students, all right? So the students should be, for me, usually I would tell them that, okay, first, you must get one key of the journal first. What journal, what area do you like to do? That's the first step. From that particular journal, only you look at the back, there's a bibliography and also the references at the back. So from there, you study deeper and deeper and deeper. However, another type of PhD students I always encounter, which is template-based. Have you seen before? What do you mean by template-based? Okay, recently during one of the student proposal defense, I just mentioned to that student, wow, your research gap is really no gap. Okay, your research problem shows you are doing a business proposal. You're not answering the background of it. But unfortunately, I do not have any writing pad for me to write today. If they are able to help me to obtain, then I will be able to share more. So today, what I'm going to talk about, which is talk about readiness in the PhD journal. And of course, the second one, usually, if you go for proposal defense and also your Viva, examination Viva, what questions that you are ready or what are they going to look at your paper? The reason why I'm sharing this idea because of, you have to ask yourself first, are you really ready for your PhD? Or how it is. Because usually a lot of students, okay, before they're ready, their motivation level are very, very high. wow, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. They want to do the whole world.
Change the whole world.
Yes, exactly. But don't forget one thing. As a PhD student, you are just doing a very, very small things that you're going to contribute back to the society, which is two things that you must contribute to the body of knowledge. The second one is the problem-solving industry, the industry problem. A lot of students, when they write their problem statement, they just address the industrial problem. But they've never addressed a single things about the academic problem at all. So because of that, so we will say that, wow, you have written a very good business proposal, but you're not writing an academic thesis. If for academic thesis, what you need to address is two areas, which is the first one, which we talk about the first industrial problem. The second one is the academic problem. Just only addressing the industrial problem or just only addressing the academic problem would not be granted you with a PhD. Yes?
Can you give example about the academic problem?
Okay, sure. Anybody would like to give me a title? I can develop something immediately. Oh, good. I love her husband is going to kill me if I say that statement. Thank you so much. Oh, I have my own instrument. This is called instrument. Yeah, good. Because only now I realize that they say they can give me more time to talk. So, can everybody see? Okay, never mind, it's okay. See, do you still remember for your research methodology? Okay, so usually what your lecturer would like you to do. Okay, you like to read more problem, right? Okay, chapter 2. Actually, the methodology is very simple. Okay, first, you should have a very good flow, how it is. Remember, you are telling a story. When you write a PhD thesis, actually, you're telling a story. You have to start telling a story from the chapter 2 onwards. 2.0, literature review. Under literature review, you must be able to tell that, okay, this is the detailed story that you want to tell for your chapter 1. Okay, before we go on with chapter 2, I'm very sure you've gone through this research method. In your chapter 1, it's called introduction. Am I right? Introduction, what should you include in your introduction? Of course, first of all, you must have a background of the study. Am I right?
Yes.
What do you need to write about the background of the study? Background study, you have to expose to everybody what is happening in the society now. It's mean more towards, in case for those from the business school or you have business background, some of you will use PhD. Am I right? To analyze. Okay, so you tell me what is happening in the society nowadays. Because of there is a background, then what you have to, of course, the background of the scenario, the current scenario, you have to identify what is the problem. All right? Then that's why they come up with the problem statement. I'll give one example. I'll give one example later on. Then from the problem statement, what is it? Because there is a problem, that's why what do you need to do? You need to solve the problem. Am I right? That's why there's a need of study. A lot of students, they only identify the background, what is happening in the society, without identifying the academic world. So by the end of it, they have problem with it. All right. Anybody would like to throw one title, I can straight away develop the whole thing immediately. That's why I mentioned that PhD is not difficult. If you know the key, how to do it. All right? Okay. A few of my researchers are here at the moment. So anybody would like to throw any topics? Okay, service quality. I'm going to quote you questions. Then after that, you have to try to answer me. All right? So from there, we were able to develop the whole structure out. All right. First of all, what happened? How is a scenario of service quality in Malaysia? One of the examples that you should be included in the area of background of the study. All right? What is happening there? Then, after that, of course, there's a lot of scenarios that happen over here. Scenario A, scenario B, scenario C, scenario D. This is, but if you're just doing reporting what is happening there, you are doing a business proposal. You're not doing an academic paper at all. Yeah, you understand what I'm trying to say? So over here, not only the area that you're looking at, you have to start to zoom down to the focusing on your journals. So in the area of journals, they might talk about the relationship between what is happening, and also over here you can talk about what is a statistic over here. You have to prove it by a statistic. You have to prove it by various of the proof to show that the current macro scenario. I'm talking about this is more towards the macro way. Then from the macro way, from the literature that you've read, so you're able to get an overall what is happening maybe from the report, the statistic report that you obtained, maybe from different various areas that you're able to get any data to show that that is the current scenario of the field of that you are doing. That's a step number one. So from there, of course, there are something happen in service quality. Am I right? So that you feel that there is a very serious problem. If it's not solved, okay, there is a serious problem over here. If it's not solved, so they will bring to the problem of the society. One of the example, if you're doing a social psychology study, so over here, the needs of study you have to address in the area of social psychology. If you're doing in the area of business, so you have to mention that the needs in the area of business. So that's how to differentiate you as a business student, or you are a psychology student, or what is the area of your study, which over here will the first step to identify the differences. When you talk about the problem, you're not only talking about the problem of the environment. You have to talk about what, for example, let's say you're doing a model A. All right. So over here, what is the problem that occur in model A? So that's why there's a need for you to study more. Not only that, over here, under the needs of study, you have to identify what are the areas that the students have mentioned, the teacher have mentioned. Maybe area A, area B, area C, area D, area E. So from here, only to identify, oh yeah, so there's area Z that I need to study because nobody has studied that before. All right. So over here, I always encourage the staff writing over here, which is I encourage them to write in this way. There are many research have been done in this area. What is the references? What are the references? What are the references? But however, there's no study has been done or lack of study has been done in what area. That's why there is a need. At least the examiner or the reader will be able to identify actually. So there is a gap of the study. So make sure that you must be able to lead the gap of the research of the study for you to go on. But however, before you venture into a PhD journal, you have to, first thing, you have to motivate yourself. Because in Malaysia, the enrollment of PhD is really, really very high. Yes. I do not have the statistic, okay, all right. But however, if you look at university graduation ceremony, okay, I do not know about others university, whereas just only talk about UPM themselves, I'm very sure it's less than 100. I'm very sure it's less than 100. Maybe anybody, I think somebody has shared with me also, that my student told me, it's less than 50, they told me. So this is the real current scenario. Okay, can you see, if I want to develop a study for that to find out the reason why PhD students enroll and do not graduate, I can talk about background here. What should I talk about? Okay, how many students enroll? How is a PhD education in Malaysia? Can you see over here? Then after that, what is the problem? Just like I mentioned, a lot of enrollment, but don't say no. Take long time to graduate. All right? Okay. Then after that, there's a real case, which is one of my friend. Okay. I knew the wife. The husband has been doing PhD in University of Malaya for 10 years. 10 years, okay? So that's why, because there's less student graduate or the drag very long, so there's a need for me to study how do we motivate students to graduate. For example, over here I would mention that, okay, so there are a few models. How do I link to academic, right? Okay, Maslow motivation has been used to motivate the students, okay? These researchers have used Maslow motivation. These researchers have used this area. They are not only looking at the perception, they look at the connective, they look at the study process, they use experimental study. So I list out what are the research has been done currently. So this is the flow. At least you're able to see the structure, or you're able to see what you would like to plan. Because that's why for PhD training, it's not only the academic writing, but it's also training you to be a systematic planner. You have to plan it systematically. And each of the statements, that's why I always ask my students, each of the statements that you write in your thesis, you have to be responsible. Because people would ask you, this is what I learned during my own PhD, so I have to answer, why do I say this? Why I do not write in that way? So there is a role of the supervisor, keep on challenging you. Remember that don't have a misunderstanding towards the role of the supervisor. So the role of the supervisor is to help you to see the potential problem that might appear in your research. How your research is able and successfully to be conducted. And a lot of students, okay, PhD I see less. For master student, right, they will come to see you. I do not have idea what to do. I do not know what is the topic I should choose. Okay, that's common for master. For PhD, usually they will come, they can tell you that, wow, there's an industrial problem, this A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They thought they want to solve all the problems, which is, this is not a business research, or what we call problem solving. PhD, you must include the element in the area of academy. So that's why before you venture into PhD journal, ask yourself, are you ready for it? Okay. Do you know that, okay, for 3 years, because of UPM is 3 years, I think here is 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, all right? If you do a PhD in, what is that called? In 3 years' time, if you plan to finish in 3 years' time, so actually you can finish it as simple as 75 words today. Can you believe it? How many of you do not believe it? 1, 2. Let me calculate for you. Okay? How many days that we have? About 30 days, right? 75 words times 30, this is the amount that you have. And also, this for 12 months, then 1 year you would have this amount. Am I right? You can calculate. Of course, I pressed calculator before. Then, in 3 years' time, actually you would have 81,000 words. Make it as your habits, all right? And if you want to have short break, very simple. Okay, if I have short break for 5 days, what I do? I will delay 5 days, I will replace it in a very short while. Some of them, okay, some of the very busy manager will say that, I don't have time to write 75 words. Very simple. How is it? You record down your sound, ask your children to do transcript for you. Transcription, qualitative research method, okay? Remember that? One of the method? Transcription. So that's why PhD is not difficult. The attitudes towards study, to obtain your PhD is the key for you to success in your PhD. And also, motivation is very, very, very important. Meaning that make sure you don't make yourself to be alone in your study. If you feel that you're alone, so by the end of it, your motivation is like a graph going up, and after a while, drop again, drop again, drop again, and that's it, finish. So that's why from time to time, you have to make yourself to be available and also discuss. Actually, seeing a supervisor, the main objective is to get feedback from them. Then usually a lot of students will claim what, seeing supervisor is disappointing because they're going to pinpoint everything that cannot. Why? I'm not sure whether you have experience with it. But however, I always tell my researcher a very simple statement. You are the main person, that you are the decision maker. Am I right, Trina? So whatever it is, so you have to do your own decision. All right? For example, just to share, recently she's having some this is a real case, you can talk to her. Okay, she's having some theoretical dilemma, whether as a moderating variables or as the independent variables itself. And she can defend it very well. Because when we challenge her, that's why it's a very good that when we challenge you, she is able to write a very long email. If anybody interested, so you can ask her to forward to you again to defend yourself why I write like this. So remember that you are the researcher. You know the subject well. We as the person that helps you to see any other possibilities. You see, we are just helping you to identify any other possibilities available there. Okay, any question you'd like to raise before I proceed? So can you do it in 3 years?
Yeah.
Can you? 75 words a day. 75.
Those words must be cannot repeat.
1,000 words, isn't it?
Sorry?